All right, everybody, today I am going over the one thing I would focus on if I want to get more work quicker in my business and make the whole transition from people just hearing about us and learning about us to buying from us even easier. And to me, I know that that's going to be what you're really trying to do. You're trying to smooth the transition of someone just finding out your name to them doing work with you and trusting you, and try to make that as short of a time frame as possible. This is something that has changed. I've got my notes here and some bullet points for me. This is something that's changed our company and totally. We've always focused on this key topic, but we really leveraged and pushed into it even more last year in 2024 than ever. We've expanded all of this on all fronts, so it has put rocket fuel on what we are already doing. And then at the very end of this video, I'm going to go over the key tool that has really helped us grow this piece of our business. So stick around for the very end. That part is going to be massive for you. And so what we're going over today is getting reviews. That's the one tip. As easy as it may seem, it is monumental in your business. I think of my buying process. If I want to find a new provider, service, find out about a restaurant, whatever the case, I look on Google and I look at the reviews. Obviously, statistically, there's not going to be all perfect reviews. There's always people that aren't necessarily satisfied with everything. But overall, if it's a 4.5 or higher, you can start reading the reviews and you can see if they've recently had a bunch of good or recently had a bunch of bad. You can really see and make a pretty good call on what a business is like to work with, eat at, stay at, whatever the case, whatever the business is. And it's so defining, right? So if I want an electrician, I'm going to go on Google, I'm going to look at electricians, and I'm going to look at their Google reviews. And then based off that is going to show me the social proof that have they done a good job for someone else. So let's get into some of these points right here. Shocking statistic, 93% of all consumers say online reviews impact their buying decisions. Obviously, because in today's day and age, it's a tool. People can do so much research before they even meet you that it's really almost scary. But it's not bad. It makes this process easier. We used to be able to hide so many of our flaws and our quality issues and our poor culture and our just bad vibe as a company. You can't do that anymore. So it really protects the buyer, which is really nice, and allows us to do so much more research online. Now, secondly, Google reviews, and there's a lot of points here, and I'm not going to hit on all the points, but I have a lot of different pieces I want to hit on. Secondly, the Google reviews alone are going to boost your Google My Business listing. That's the area where the reviews and all of the map and all that is listed on Google in the search results, right? Like if you search for landscape companies in a certain area, you're going to have LSA ads. You're going to maybe have Google ads, but probably the map and then Google ads and then SEO. That Google map area, that Google My Business area is going to be really driven and impacted by how many reviews you have. It's social proof to the algorithm that is Google and everyone else that you're either doing a good or a bad job. And those reviews are really going to affect your relevancy, and that positive amount is going to really reflect in the search results. Now you're going to be up higher, which means it's just going to get more eyeballs all the time. That's why I say this point is so huge for a company, because I asked our guys, or asked the office right before I came in here, how often do you get a call that they say your good reviews are why we picked you? And they said, yeah, we've already had one today. Like, it is an everyday, daily thing why people talk about reviews being a reason that they chose our company or chose to reach out to our company. Now, the trust factor on top of this is big as well. What are reviews? They're not stuff we're writing. And what's beautiful about Google and all these other review platforms, mainly Google though, is what I'm focusing on for this conversation, is it's all verified and individual users. And so that means it's not us writing these reviews and making these up. It's real people coming on and saying real things about working with a company. right? So that is social proof. You've already heard me kind of say social proof multiple times. Social proof, really knowing that, hey, everybody else says this company does a good job. They did this kind of install. They had this kind of service. They had X, Y, Z, and it was all amazing. Now, it's like based off of all these reviews, you know what to expect. Our companies to this date all have over 200 reviews. Our Florida location has 268. Our Illinois location has, I think, 287 or 290. And those review accounts, it took years. We started in 2014 in Illinois to get to that number. We really blew it up last year. And we started in 2021 in Florida. And they're almost very dead even as companies overall. And we've always had that effect that the reviews have been very, very positive for our company in general. Now, other pieces that are massive for this, if you're starting out and you're in business, why I say reviews can be even more monumental is there's kind of like a critical mass of you need at least get 10 reviews to dramatically start increasing click-through rates and some of the search volume and some of this getting thrown up on the maps in general. Obviously, that really depends on who else and how many reviews are around you for local companies. But if other companies have a lot of reviews, you really at least want to get to that point to really start gaining a lot of traction on there. And all of this just snowballs, right? That social proof compounds. It starts building up. People see that. It starts ranking up. It just gets more and more and more eyes on it as time goes on. So what are some of the key ways to really build these reviews? All right. For years, we just used non-pay-for strategies that helped us grow these. We've always had people say reviews helped us and good reviews helped them make their decision. But something that has been massive for getting those reviews is really having the policy in place of always ask, right? Like if someone's telling you how good they're doing, your team, you as an individual, if you're just starting out, ask for a review. Hey, Mrs. Jones, you just said how fantastic we did out on this project for you. It would mean the world to us if you could leave us a Google review. I'm going to email you the link. If you take 5 minutes of your time to leave us that Google review, that would be fantastic because we're wanting other people to see how well we do so we can service more people just like you. And so getting it to be a part of the whole conversation, that asking for the review, expecting the review, wanting to provide a 5-star service where one of the outcomes of this is your satisfied company, your satisfied customer, and you want to therefore leave us a review because we expect to give you 5-star results. The more and more and more you start building that in, and then the more you start talking about that, maybe even up front in the sales process, hey, we're going to meet, we're going to go through this appointment. Our goal here this whole time is to make sure, there's a lot of variables in this project. Things change. Things are always kind of in flux. But ours is to have great communication with you to ensure we have a 5-star product so you can leave us a 5-star review because that is how one of the main ways we grow our company. So building that verbiage, and then doing courtesy calls for customers and going in and asking for reviews in that opportunity as people say how awesome it's been, how great the service has been. We're checking on them. They say everything's great. We love you guys. Cool. Would you please leave us a review? I'll email you the link. I'll text you the link. I'll send you the link. You want to make it as easy as possible. You don't just ask and then be like, I hope they search it. You want to put the tools right in front of them and then maybe follow up with them the next day and put that right in front of them. Now, as this builds, right, you keep adding layers to the onion of ways to kind of bump, poke, remind. The next piece would be we started implementing automations in the company. So as soon as a service was done, you'd get a text, hey, your service was complete. If everything was perfect, or there's anything we need to change, please let us know. We want to make sure things are taken care of. And if everything was great, please leave us a review at here, and here's the link. So all of these constant reminders on the invoices, leave us a review, leave us a review, leave us a review. All of these systems in place just to get a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more. And now this is an implementation process, right? And you maybe need to track, like I have a quota as I start to grow my company. I'm going to ask at least 5 times this week. I'm going to ask at least 3 times this week. I'm going to ask 10 times this week about getting these reviews because these reviews are so monumental to growing your company that they're not something that you can slack on. Now, I promised, right? We've went over a lot of different stuff here. We've went over a lot of stuff that is beneficial. And I promised I'm going to get to the main thing that definitely changed reviews in our company. And I've only got one more point, and then we're going to get right into it. The last piece is and I mentioned, you're going to get some negative reviews. So crafting, handling, responding to those reviews appropriately and with class and with the effort that shows that you are trying to do everything, that can even have a positive spin, because people will then see in this negative situation, how did someone react, right? So the negative review is an opportunity to show your cards, to show the way you operate, to show what you're willing to do to try to make it right. And as consumers, people are going to see when someone's kind of maybe just being crazy, and then when this is maybe a true issue, but you did at least try to do everything. Because I've seen people respond and put garbage responses. I can't find you in the system, blah, 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 blah. Put more. Respond with more tact and respond with more empathy towards people could be frustrated, and we're here to serve. And really take time and look at what you're writing, because we have to come from a place of service. So the last little piece is you're going to get negative reviews. Look at it as, and I know how frustrating it is, because when I think it should consume you, because you should feel personally responsible for it, and you should be hoping, one, you can make it better, and two, even if you weren't in the wrong at all and it's just someone who's totally, their expectations are way out of line, you still should be going out of your way to respond in a tactful way that shows you're trying to do everything and shows all of the information that provides full context in both sides to the story in a positive way, while not pointing blame at anyone, and having understanding that no matter what, it can be challenging to try to, whatever the case may be, it can be challenging to try to fix XYZ problem, but this is what we did to try to do it for you. We went above and beyond in these areas, and we understand that I am only thinking about poor reviews as a place of service on how, one, you can learn from it and implement everything you learn from that situation into the future, and two, it's just kind of like a reflecting moment. And so other people are now going to judge your company on all those good reviews, but how did you handle the bad review as well? So I've went through all of that. I went through all of these points of why you really, really, really should focus on this. Now, the last piece of the puzzle, you have to pay for this, right? But this is blown up our reviews. We went from probably 160-ish reviews in both locations to over 280 or to over 260. Basically, we added at least 100 to both locations at minimum. And they've came on fast in season. We're talking reviews, lots and lots of reviews. And that is with Applause. Applause has been a great product for us. It is another automated system that sends out text, and it uses, or if you set it up this way, it uses the offer of, like, if someone loved the service and thought you did a great job, they send an ask that says, well, if you love the service and you love the technician, let us give them a bonus. If you leave us a review, we'll give them a bonus. So it's basically in a phrase, and I kind of butchered that, but it's people helping people. And people don't really care about just reviewing the company, but when they love who is out there working and they realize they can get a bonus for that, now them leaving the review helps them, and it makes it so much more incentivized for a homeowner to actually want to do it. Because a lot of these people see your team week in and week out, and now it's a way to say thank you and a way to help them earn more money. Now, a side piece to this that is not as expensive as the platform, but something we did in one of this revolutions, whatever, levels of building our review systems and processes. We've also done review pushes as a company, meaning we incentivize all our team members. We do a big $200, $300, whatever. It's a contest. Whoever can get their most reviews in a month's time gets to take the pot, gets to take all the money, and gets the review bonuses along the way. And so we create a lot of excitement around this. We email as an office. We talk about how this is going on. We let all these customers know this is going on, and we run a challenge. And we've had it where we've had 5 a day, every day for like a week and a half doing this before. So there's a lot of little things that you can implement in your company to push this up and to get your company up there and above all the others on the rankings. We are the most reviewed company in our first location, and we We are probably like the second in Florida, but we're going to be the first before you know it, because we've been closing that gap a little bit at a time, and we're going to be on top of that as well, which is going to allow us to continue to gain market share and grow our company. Invest in getting reviews this year on some level. It might be the level of make 3 asks a week. It might be the level of implement all the systems in the world. Do something, you're not going to regret it.